My name is Brent Shopp, and I'm with Purposely. And we started this company, my partner and I, really having worked in the tech space, watching a lot of people learn code and then try to get careers, start their careers in software. And the thing we noticed more and more was this term purpose. Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? And so if you get three things from today: one, don't judge your insides by other people's outsides. You determine what your success is. Don't go by what everybody else does. And then I lost my number two. Number two, don't follow your passion. Solve problems. No, it's not there yet. Solve problems. Identifying what problems you like to solve will help you determine your purpose. I'm very passionate about pizza, but no one will pay me to eat pizza. So I did find out, though, that my purpose, what I enjoy doing, is bringing people together. And I found out with pizza, I can do that. So there you go. And third, it's up to you. No one's going to help you find your purpose without your wanting to in the first place. So take anything, those three things. So when looking at what purpose was, we need to start with a definition. It can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. So we looked at, there's a Japanese philosophy you may have heard of called Ikigai, and you'll recognize this in some form or fashion you may have seen throughout your life. But this is from Okinawa, and there it's why you get up in the morning. Where these four circles overlap is theoretically your purpose. And in Okinawan culture, the whole culture from birth to death is really around finding your use and finding your purpose in the community. And we don't have a lot of that. I wasn't raised with those kind of values. I had to learn those on my own. So looking at what does the world need? What will the world pay me for? What do I love to do? And what am I good at? And where those overlap, theoretically, is my purpose. What we found was what's kind of missing working with a lot of young people or recent college graduates was their mindsets and behaviors were kind of all over the place. And so this other dimension kind of grew out of this Ikigai to say, what's my mindset? What are my behaviors? Because that will really help dictate where I fall in the middle. So we started looking at, how do we measure that? And you all go into, and this is back to don't let your insides be judged by others' outsides. Success is what you determine it to be. And for me, finding my purpose is success. And I had this idea, this vision, when I went through education, when I got a job, since I've had kids and hopefully matured a little bit. My view of success has changed drastically, and it's much more aligned with what I think my purpose is today. And my purpose is not standing up in front of a group of smart people talking, so just be aware of that. So we use a survey that measures these mindsets and behaviors because we needed a way to quantify and give somebody a baseline. Where am I at? And so measuring mindsets and behaviors, we can look at 100 attributes of those mindsets and behaviors. It's a 15-minute survey, but what it does is really map out those 100 traits, and I can sit down with you and we can have a discussion about what these traits mean: self-esteem, self-awareness, creativity. And by having that common language, we can share the definition of what it means. We may not agree what self-esteem is, but we may agree it's this definition for the purpose of this conversation, right? It's very easy to get somebody in line with that. And then looking at the intensity of how they're maintaining or how they're living that behavior, that trait. So we may see someone whose self-esteem is very low intensity, their self-blame is very high intensity, and they don't feel good about themselves. They think everybody's always talking about them and everything's their fault. And to show that on a piece of paper and somebody's light bulb to go off and go, oh, now I get it, that's me, right? It's a pretty neat experience and aligns more with my purpose. But then with these mindsets and behaviors, they're all things that you can change and work on. So Purposely is a machine learning based platform built in Python. um, that allows us to give individuals impact assets that can have an effect on their mindsets and behaviors. So self-awareness, we may have you watch a TED Talk, and then the system will start to learn what impact assets affect what traits to what intensity and what demographics. So it gets smarter as it goes. Now we can have you retake the survey in 6 weeks, say, and together we can sit down and look at how your intensity on these different traits moved. And that's what's really cool. There's my business partner's son is he just graduated from IU with an informatics degree. He is incredibly smart. I started working with him about 6 months ago. He still incredibly smart, but incredibly arrogant. And we did this together, and the assistant came back and said, look at this closely, because these answers are way too negative to be a normal person. And what we found is that's kind of the college student mentality. They're kind of all over the place in their mindsets and behaviors. So we spent 6 months working together, really working on these things, and the awareness of sitting down and going, hey, here's your self-awareness is way off. And here's what that impacts. And him to work on these things, and then after graduating, he's taking it again, and it's amazing. He almost looks like a real person. He's coming along very nicely. Yeah. So, looking at wanting to know what your purpose is kind of that first step. And back to defining for you what success is. We cannot, with any tool, and anybody who tells you they can do this, they're lying. No one can tell you your purpose. But we can give you a path and walk with you down that path, and if you do those things, you will find your purpose. And that's where measuring these mindsets and behaviors really gives us a baseline to go, hey, is this working, yes or no? So how does it work? You complete the survey. From the results, you'll be shown your 4 insights. It's kind of a high level of explanation of who you are. There's additional reports available that group these traits together in drivers. What drives you at work? What are your imperatives, which is emotional intelligence? All things that really give you a good insight into how you work and why you work. Some of you may have taken like the DISC or the Hogan or the Raven or Myers-Briggs. All really good tests that measure personality. The thing with those is you're not supposed to take them multiple times. So it's really good about telling you how you're going to work in this team and helping us to communicate together. But with this, we can get into why you're acting that way. Maybe you're hard to communicate with because your self-esteem is really low. Well, can we work on that to help your self-esteem get better and feel more comfortable about yourself? It may change the way you're able to communicate in the team and work with others. And then we have coaches who work with individuals to create a purpose plan, which is, again, looking at where those mindsets and behaviors in regard to where you want to be, and then starting to work through that to give you a plan to change it. Take control. So this is the link. Feel free to take it. It is free to take, and we'll have a follow-up once we do the beta launch on the platform that will be a little bit more in-depth and have some more resources that we can pull from. So again, the 3 things, if you take anything from this, 1, don't let your insides be judged by others' outsides. Pick your own version of success. 2, don't follow your passion. Find out what problems you want to solve and solve them. And if you don't know how, ask people to help you. It's pretty amazing how that works. And then 3rd, it's up to you to drive your own success. No one's going to do this for you. Any questions?
Any questions for Brent? Oh, here we go. Let me bring you the microphone.
What's that? Oh, sorry. Thank you. Are you a Tottenham Hotspur supporter?
I am a Hotspurs fan.
Oh, okay.
Champions League.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for the talk. When you retake the survey, is it the same questions again, or does it vary the questions?
They're not questions, they're adjectives that it asks you to compare yourself to, and the order of them changes, but the adjectives themselves don't change. So you can't memorize what you want it to be. It detects that.
So, but presumably it loses effectiveness if you do it like 1,000 times, right?
You get what we call assessment fatigue. That's why we recommend a minimum of 6 weeks. Usually we say once every 3 months, because by then you're not holding it in your short-term memory. And people who do this, they want to take it. So they're not taking it to fool it. They're taking it because they want to see what happens, and that definitely affects the outcome.
Thank you.
Mhm.